Well, hello and welcome, and thank you for tuning in today. This is a little bit of a marketing and PR video. It's information that I usually give to acts who are performing in the Galway Theatre Festival, which takes place in May every year. This year, I am project producer for Interaction, which is a digital theatre festival in conjunction with Galway 2020 and Galway Theatre Festival. The project showcases 6 artists, 1 international guest, workshops, talks, and live events. So interaction details will be linked below. But just to get into, this is a video for artists of any kind, but it is specifically the information that I give to artists every year who are taking place in the theatre festival. A bit of a background on me. I've worked in marketing and PR for about 8 years now, and I have worked in Australia, Edinburgh, Ireland, lots of different arts organisations, doing marketing, PR, as well as many other things. So just to get started, I am also marketing manager for the Galway Theatre Festival. So each year in the lead up to the festival, we do a number of physical marketing things, such as posters, programs. We also do a lot of media and PR, which I'm also in charge of. We organise photo ops, we do general advertisements, social media, and we distribute to all over the country posters and brochures and things like that. So first off, my first piece of advice would be that yourself as an artist or your theatre group or your band or whatever it might be, to get a logo for yourself. There's lots of ways to make logos. You can use Canva, you can use Photoshop. There are lots of logo makers online as well. I'll link some of those below, but just make sure that it's nice and bright and colourful. And a tip is to have it in a circle, because right now Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all of them have circular profile pictures. And if you can put a nice coloured border around them as well, it really makes it stand out. In terms of physical marketing then, in Galway, physical marketing still tends to be key, and even across Ireland, physical marketing is extremely important. So make sure that you get posters done up and have a bright action shot poster. We don't want a boring kind of black and white image. Just make sure that it really stands out in the crowd if you were to put it up against other images, and also make sure that your logo is on it, and also make sure that the text is very clear, that there's a call to action, whether it be you're visiting a website or the dates and the price. Just make sure that the font is extremely clear and can be read from a distance. In terms of physical marketing then, set your budget and check online printers. So I will link some printers that I use down below. Unfortunately, they'd be Ireland based, but I'm sure you can find versions for anywhere that you are. There's lots of different options for printing. You don't have to go with your bog standard A3 poster. You can do leaflets, you can do trifold leaflets that are kind of like menus, badges, stickers, business cards, bags, and some of those can be used all year round. It doesn't need to be show specific. However, just if you are doing posters, most people prefer them that way rather than horizontal, just because you can fit more posters in that way. And make sure that they're in A3 size. A4s will kind of be, you just don't see them as well. Also, when you are, it's great to print them, but just make sure that they're not sitting in a box under your bed, that they do get distributed. So there's 2 different options for that. One would be create a distribution list in your town or in your region. So that can be coffee shops, bars, arts venues, anything like that. Lots of people do actually accept posters and will put your posters in their venue if you ask them really nicely. Do go in and be polite and ask them. Don't just trudge in and whack up your poster without asking permission. Do also check when you're putting up your posters if any of the other posters are out of date, so you can take those down and put those in place of them. Don't cover someone else's poster. They've taken the time to go out there and do it, so just be a pal as well. And if you do see anything looking a bit messy, just tidy them up as well. I always say that with leaflets as well. Whenever I go into a venue, I always make sure that I tidy other people's leaflets, because it just looks nicer and more appealing, and people are more likely to take them. So The next thing is press. I would say do not underestimate press. For this digital festival interaction that I've just done, over 50% of our market that visited our website was actually from press. Which I found astounding. It outdid social media, it outdid any other forms of marketing that I did by a long shot. And it just goes to show that radio and newspapers can still be very, very important. So the first thing is what you need to do to get in contact with the press. Please make a note of any arts shows that might be running in your area. So in Galway, there's the Vinnie Brown Arts Show, which takes place through Galway Bay FM. And then there's also RTE Arena, with Sean Locks. So you would just create a press release for these people, and you can send them to the info ats, or you can ring up the radio stations and say, hi, I've got this going on. I would love to get in contact with someone. Can I create or can I get a contact detail for them? Rather than just sending it to an info at, sometimes it can just go into the junk or into the trash. So do pick up the phone or do send an initial email saying, I've got this event coming up. I would love to go online, or I'd love to go live and chat about it. And here's my details. But to do that, create a press release. So a press release can be as short as you want, kind of 100 words to 500 words max. And in the first sentence, or in the first 2 sentences max, it needs to have a who, what, where, when, and why. And that's because if the newspaper doesn't have that much space, at least they can put in 2 lines about you, or 2 lines with an image. And that means that you could still get a little slot in the newspaper rather than a big cover, but any press is good. The other thing is to send them out on Thursdays or Fridays. Think about a lot of the local newspapers here, they come out on a Thursday or a Friday. And so their kind of final print deadline would be a Monday. So it would be great to get it to them before the weekend to kind of guarantee your slot. Similarly, it would be best on a Friday or on a Monday to send it into radio if it's a week-long program, just so that, you know, if they do have a slot during the week that someone can't commit to, they might email you. Another thing is you also need high-res images, especially for print. You cannot send them, you know, just a selfie. Do have a really, really nice image. And if you are creating a poster, then that should be just fine. But do make sure that you send them a high-res copy. Also, when you're sending a press release out, make sure to put it in the body of an email, as well as put it in a Word doc format, put it in a PDF, and have the images in a high-res and a low-res option, as well as your logo. Put everything in the email that they could possibly need, because if they need to email you back, there's a possibility that they just won't run it and they won't take the time to do that. So just give them everything that they need in advance. The next thing then is social media. So I would be a social media manager for a couple of different arts organisations in Ireland. A big thing would be create a hashtag. That way you can just find all of your posts, or if someone goes to a live event of yours, they could also upload it and tag you, or put the hashtag. The easiest thing for marketers, especially if you're taking part in a festival, or if you would like people to give you a bit of a shout out, is actually to put something up on your Instagram story and to tag them in it. It's extremely easy. It's just one click for people who manage accounts to share out an Insta story. So I would say you are far more likely, rather than Facebook or Twitter can be good for retweets, but Instagram stories is actually a very, very good way to get little shout outs. The other thing is make sure that you have content. For press, yes, you need high-res images, but for social media, you certainly don't. And video content can be really key. So if you're a band, take pictures of you rehearsing. If you're a comedian, take pictures of your writing, or take a little 2-minute video of you rehearsing a set. It's all about that content. So I would be trying to get at least one piece of content out a day, whether it be a picture, a video. It's just very, very important that if you're in the lead up to an event, you are posting every single day about the event. The other thing is use a mix of platforms and tag others and find out what works for you. Some people find LinkedIn works brilliant for them, others Twitter, some people love Tumblr, there's Facebook and Instagram, but right now I think the top 2 key social medias are TikTok and YouTube. They just don't seem to have the horrible algorithm trouble that Facebook and Instagram are facing right now. And you can use those as a search engine, and people can go and find your website or find out more about your event or find your socials through TikTok and YouTube. Facebook pages and Instagram at the minute, it is very, very difficult to build an audience. A lot of people are finding, you might even find on your personal Instagram, that it's just really stagnant at the minute. You might go up 3 followers and down 2 followers. And that is unfortunately due to the algorithm and because they want you to pay for ads. If you do have the money to pay for ads, I would suggest a low rate advert that runs over a very long period of time. So if you could set an ad even 1 month out at 50 cents a day, that would work out a lot better than 2 days before the event and whacking all of your social media budget on it if you have it. So a long drawn out advert is a lot better, and more people will see it. But unfortunately, Facebook pages and Instagram, I really wouldn't start to grow your following from there. So do look at other platforms that are out there. Again, I'll link them down below. If you are going with Facebook, a little tip is if you have created a Facebook page for your work, to share, unfortunately, those cat videos, those baking videos, those DIY videos. If you share those very, very viral videos, Facebook likes that and they will improve how much you're seen on the algorithm. So that is an option for you if it does tie in some way. However, I choose to not do it myself. For videos, do you also upload directly to the platform that you're on? So put up your YouTube video, but if you are putting a video up on Facebook, put it directly on, upload it directly to Facebook. Same with Twitter, same with IG stories. Just make sure that you're uploading directly to that platform. Instagram, it's very hard to link out. You can link in your bio and things like that, which can get traction. But again, just upload it directly to the social that you're on. Another thing is to be supportive of others. So it's all well and good putting up phenomenal posts that look really beautiful or put up really funny videos, but you have to engage with other people. So with the Galway Theatre Festival, I would just take a few minutes every morning and go through, follow artists that I like, follow other theatre groups, retweet some events that are happening, and just share the love a little bit. Because the more you interact with things, the better it'll be for you to be seen on social media. Then it comes to your website. Are you going to have a website? I would say at this moment in time, I think it's very important to have a website, and I'll tell you why. Social media, as you've seen probably with Facebook and Instagram, it can change so much. At 1 minute you could, it's like TikTok right now. You could be seen by hundreds of thousands of people, but they could change their algorithm very, very quickly in the morning if they do want to start selling ads. So having a website that people can go to directly to find out information is very beneficial. Also, you have complete control over your website. You can edit it yourself. And so if you've got tour dates, if you've got anything, it's not relying on, some people are no longer on Facebook. Some people don't have a Twitter. But everyone can reach a website. It's also a very handy thing to just put on posters instead of www.facebook.com/whatever. A website is just nice and clean, and to get it up there. For websites myself, I like to use Squarespace. So I do use WordPress for an awful lot of events, and whenever I take on a new job, it usually is WordPress. This would be wordpress.org and not wordpress.com. So WordPress, it's up 45% of all websites use WordPress. There's lots of integrations. You can literally do countless amounts of edits and make it look whatever way you want. But it does require a little bit of coding and installing plugins and things like that. So if you do want a simple and easy drag and drop system, or you want to create something that looks really, really beautiful in a short amount of time, Squarespace is your best friend. It will cost you about €260, give or take maybe €20 if there's a sale on, for everything, for the host, for the domain, everything per year. So that can be quite a lot of money if this is just a once-off event or if you're in a new band or things like that. So my other option is actually something that I only found quite recently, which is called Padlet. Padlet is used mostly by, I believe, primary school teachers. But what it is it's quite similar to a Tumblr. It's a drag and drop system for a website. Unfortunately, you cannot link your own domain. It will be padlet.com/ whatever you want it to be. But there's a lot of little nifty things that you can do with it. You can upload MP3s, images, videos, all that kind of stuff. And I just think it's a really interactive, kind of cool place to build a website. And it's entirely free. So if you are looking for a free option for a website, I will link Padlet down below. Another thing about your show is to just sit down and think, or about your act or about who you are, is what is your unique selling point? So for me personally, as the marketing manager, I can't sell your show if you don't give me a story around it. If it's a very vague description, or sometimes the content can just seem a bit airy-fairy, I need exactly who you want to sell this show to. Is it 18 to 25s? Is it children? Is it over 65s? Is it Irish? Is it not? I need to know who the demographic is in order to sell it. So I would just sit down and say, if your dream audience, or if you had a dream audience member, who would that be? And then how do you sell it to them? So perhaps you might put posters in bars and restaurants that appeal to that demographic, or if you're doing a social media ad, to apply it to that demographic. So do just have it in the back of your head. And I know it's difficult when you're creating artwork as well, but do have it in the back of the head of who is this for? And what makes your show interesting. The last piece of advice is I would spread it through word of mouth, especially in the west of Ireland, or especially in Ireland. You need to get people talking about it. So tell your mother, tell your brother, tell everyone. As far as you're concerned, this is the biggest show of your life, or the biggest event of your life. Just why waste your time on this creative venture if no one is going to see it? So I would just advise, tell everyone, don't be shy about it. And that is a surefire way to spread the news of your event. So if you do have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. I'm hoping to make this a little series for you guys. And feel free to check out Interaction, which will also be linked below. Thank you.